So here are some wonderful things from these readings. Isaiah is in a very cranky mood because people are only living out the law, not with good intention. They are fasting. Now, the truth is, the only people that can fast are the people that have extra. And the people who are fasting then, sometimes the people with extra, which, you know, there's always been the folks that had everything, and most everybody had not much. So certainly during the time of the prophet Isaiah, the vast majority of people were poor and lived from hand to mouth. And so anybody that fasted had stuff that they could give up. So we used to have a Franciscan, his name was Norman, and he was great of girth. And he would talk about, oh, look how I have fasted. There wasn't a cookie that man did not appreciate, and I follow in his tradition. My point is that the people that fasted were being ridiculed by the prophet Isaiah because they fasted to show everybody how holy they were. And that isn't why people fast. It is at the very end of the reading that Isaiah says to those who are misguided in their fasting, when you give food to the hungry, then you will be blessed by God. Because it isn't in following the rules of fasting that you become holy. Holiness is a gift from God. Holiness happens to all of us when we reflect God within us. God does not care about people fasting for the sake of fasting. God does care that God's children are fed. So if we are to feed one another, then we become holy. That is God within us, caring for each other. That is the word of Isaiah. We, I think as a human family, love to get caught up in rules. People like to have rule books. People like to know what to expect. I'm not an anarchist. I know sometimes people sound like it, but we need rules. I love four-way stop sign rules. You know, we need rules. But the thing about it is, just because we have the rule for a four-way stop sign does not make me a safe driver. I have to follow the rule, and I have to understand the rule, and I have to use common sense when I'm driving. That's what makes me a good driver. It isn't the rule. So I'm not against the rules. I'm trying to push us to understand there is a deeper thing here. Well, there's all sorts of rules, and we love to put rules into religion. And actually, there are only two of them. Only two of them. So if somebody gives you an idea that there's more than two rules in our living out of the gospel, they are misguided. The two rules are, love God, love thy neighbor as yourself. We got it. That's it. That's it. So when my grandmother makes the statement, let there be nothing between you except God, what she has emphasized, and something that you and I need to hear of again and again and again, is that there is nothing between us as brothers and sisters except God. And does not our world need that message today? It doesn't mean that we have to agree on everything. It doesn't mean that we have to vote the same. It doesn't mean that we are progressive or conservative, or pick a number, pick a name, pick a whatever. We are here because of Christ. And who is between us is God. The rules that we follow are the rules Christ has given to us. Love God, love neighbor. It is both that simple and that difficult. Because there are some really difficult neighbors. It's the truth of it. It's the truth of it. You know this as well as I do. So that's Isaiah. Now we are at Paul and the Corinthians, poor Corinthians. They're having a bad day too. Paul is telling them how bad their day is. So he's contrasting kind of those who are immature and those who are mature. Well, let's maybe look at that phrasing a little bit differently. A story out of my life that exemplifies this is when my mom and dad first moved into a healthcare retirement community. My dad was 78, my mom was 76. They used to have dinner with a group of people. There were about 10 of them. And these are people from this was in Albuquerque, people from all over the United States, but they came to live in this wonderful place. I want to move in. And now I'm old enough. But at this dinner table, here was this gentleman at one end of the table, and we were laughing and having a good time. And this group, I mean, it needed to be a promotional film for, having fun. Anyway, this guy at the end of the table, as we're laughing and having good stuff like that, he wrapped his knuckles. Now, I don't know where this all comes from, but in my family, when somebody wraps their knuckles on the table, it's like, okay, pay attention. There was the same thing in the Franciscans. It was the same thing in school. I don't know, did anybody wrap knuckles in your family? Or is this just part of my tradition? Okay, it's part of my tradition. So, this guy obviously knew my tradition because he wrapped knuckles on the table and he said, I'm going to tell you something. So, they're all close to 80, if not 80 and above, And I'm sitting there and he said, here is the truth. Spend time with the people you love. Anybody want to argue with that one? There is the wisdom of a mature heart. He has distilled all of this down. He is at the end of his life. He's at the retirement community. All of this stuff. No, their work, by the way, is not done. Don't think that it's retirement. The vitality and the beauty of that community was incredible. It could teach us things about how to be a community. Spend time with those that you love. Don't get caught up in the things that divide you. Don't get caught up in the things that are passing away, that are transitory. Don't have a big fight this afternoon about who's supposed to win the Super Bowl, or which commercial is better, or should they have done it that way, or should they have done it. Let there be nothing between you except God. Spend time with those that you love. That's what Paul is saying when he says, be mature in your faith. Understand what is important. And what is important for us is that we are the love of God in the world. And when we are not being the love of God, let us all accept the challenge to be the love of God. Because there's no one here, Paul says this, there is no one here who has this so together that they are able to say, I got it together, listen to me. It is absolutely magnificent how the message of God's love comes through the fools of Christ. Listen to the message of love, not the messenger. There's not one of us that can stand in front of anyone else and say, I know this better. It is the message of love that sets us free. That is the gospel. That's what Paul is teaching us in Corinthians. And lastly now, we come to the gospel. You. He meant you. That just scared her. I got the baby in the eye. That was an old teacher trick. You, and you are the salt of the earth. Great. What's that mean? Well, salt has a lot of meanings. There is what is called a salt covenant in the Old Testament. Salt was stuff that was exchanged amongst friends. Salt is what was considered the thing that added not only flavor to food, but flavor to relationship. So families gave salt to each other. We put salt sometimes in our holy water. We used to put salt on a baby's tongue when they were baptized. It's a sign of purification. Salt is something that throughout human history is a necessity. Too much of it kills you, not enough of it kills you. We have salt inside of us. I don't know, like a salt cellar worth. We have to have salt. Our heart doesn't beat without salt or sodium. Salt of the earth. We, in our modern time, can go to Kroger or QFC, this is not an endorsement, and buy any kind of salt. Yesterday I was looking at salts. There are green salts and pink salts and purple salts and Hawaiian salts and Himalayan salts and salt sea salts and salt sea island salts. And what happened to Morton's and the umbrella? We've got more kinds of salt available to us in the grocery store than probably forever. And you know, at one point, salt was more important than gold. And that there are kingdoms that rose and fell on their availability of salt. Our common table thing. I wish I could transport myself back in time with my little case of Morton's. I could just have made, it's amazing. But when Jesus says, you are the salt of the earth, he is talking about that friendship. He is talking about that zest of relationship. He is talking about how salt brings things up, makes things more flavorful. When Jesus says you are the salt of the earth, he is saying you, in all of the little wherever you are in life, are how God presents God's love throughout creation. You can be pink salt or green salt or black salt or yellow salt or white salt or Himalayan salt or pick a salt. I don't care. You're the salt of the earth. You are the salt of the earth. You are what brings zest to our world, who brings flavor to our world. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. You. I'm not talking theoretically. I'm talking personally. You. You are the light of the world. And what light do we shine? What is the light for us? What is important? What is, when we wrap our knuckles, we say this is what we are about as a people? What is that? You, salt, and you, light, know that answer. Don't you? It's long. That's all it is. And everything that it is love. We gather together as brothers and sisters, not because we all vote the same, we all look the same, because we all do whatever the same. We gather as brothers and sisters in the name of God who loves us, and in that love, we love one another. This is how we are sought. This is how we are loved. This is what distinguishes us from other communities. We gather in the name of God with our brothers and sisters. All are welcome. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Ready? But it is written, what no eye has seen, nor ear heard, nor human heart conceived, what God has prepared for those who love God.